one. Ya'anehu mishmei kodshe, answering him from his holy chamber. Bigvures, with might. Yesha, salvation. Yamine, from his right hand. Elam rechav, elam asusim. Our enemies may come in their chariots with their tanks and their armored vehicles and their cavalry and the drones and the missiles. V'anachnu b'shem Adonai Eloheinu nazkir. We come with the name of God on our lips. Him akaru v'nafalu, they slipped, they fell. V'anachnu kamu nis'edag, we have stood up and we are standing strong after 3,337 years. That's almost forever, which is a long time. Adonai Yeshua Melech Aleinu V'Yem Koreinu. Hashem is our God. He is our King. He should answer us on the day that we call. Good morning, Mrs. Rosen. Oh.
Good morning, Rabbi Pape.
Good morning.
Simcha.
Everybody. We have two people on the Zoom. Rebetz and Simcha and Andrea. Chapter 19. We finished chapter 18. We're talking about different levels of love that a Jewish person feels for Hashem. A lot of people keep Torah and mitzvahs, but they don't feel for it. They do that. They're brought up that way. They know it's the right thing to do. But they may be very precise in the way they keep Torah and mitzvahs, but they don't feel love and fear. We learned that the feelings of love and fear, if we want to compare it to a human body, are like the right arm and the left arm, the right hand and the left hand. A bird needs to have two wings to fly. Our service of Hashem has to fly. When you do a mitzvah and you feel and you love the idea that you're doing it, you love the one who gives it to you. Leave yourself out of the picture. You love doing it because it's a holy thing to do. And you want to do it right and not do it wrong. That's fear of God. And that's a feeling in the heart. I want to do this right. I want to make it right. I want to make it meaningful. I want it to be the way it should be. I wish it could be. I saw my grandmother doing this mitzvah, and I want to do it like she did it. She loved Hashem. She loved Yiddishkeit. She loved Torah. I want to feel like that too. So these are feelings of love that we want to have, but how do we get them? How do we get them? That's the point of this. So the one way that we've discussed at great length is by using our brain and thinking about how great Hashem is. Just look at the sky today. I used to say to my children when we would go to shul on the Shabbos together, and we'd see the beautiful cloud formations in the sky. I said, could you do that? He said, no, only Hashem could do that. We see the buds coming out on the trees. Now the trees are full of leaves, green, very welcome shade when the thermometer goes up another 10 degrees into the 80s and 15 into the 85, 90. And we'll be happy to walk under the shade of these great trees. And we see the flowers coming up in the lawns. And the birds singing early in the morning. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? Whole creation, Hashem is very great. You appreciate the greatness of Hashem. And you are also part of this creation. And so you can, by thinking about these things, and you understand that everything in the world has been given its life from Hashem. So then that can inspire a feeling of love in your heart, and desire to be on the winning team. Which is a feeling that's akin to, to be on the winning team. You have to practice, you have to learn to do things right, you have to do things perfectly, like in gymnastics, to do all these movements, the acrobatic movements that they do. That's the idea of discipline and fear in the service of God. So through thinking about the way Hashem fills the world with life, every single thing, according to its measure, everything has a measure. The life that's in an animal is not like the life that's in a plant. The life that's in a plant is not like the life in stones. And the life in animals, stones don't move. Vegetable things grow. They move. And you think about in the fall, every creature has to reproduce, has to make more of its kind, has to have children, right? Animals do it physically. Stones, how do stones reproduce? Well, all kinds of natural phenomena enable stones to pile up and sometimes it takes a long time for stones to wear out through natural substances, and they change and they grow. A mountain is a symbol of growth in the world of domim. Vegetables, growing things, grasses and flowers and trees, they have much more visible life in them than stones. But stones have invisible life in them because, if you strike a stone, out comes fire. You want to make a fire in the wilderness, you rub the stones together until you create heat. Where does the fire come from? In the stone. The stones generally do not show growth, only over long periods of time. But vegetables, someach, they grow. You look in the autumn time, how each kind of growing thing has the most ingenious method of reproducing, of bringing forth seeds and spreading them. Every tree, every plant has a different way of doing it. It's unbelievable. It's so fantastic. The little dandelion, yeah? You know what dandelions are? They come up with these very pretty balls at the top, and you blow on them. There are 50, an average dandelion. Is there such a thing as an average dandelion? Have 50 seeds in that ball, and they're very light, so a wind carries them away, and they spread all over. There's so many dandelions, end up with thousands of seeds, and that's how they survive. But the world will always have dandelions because of that. That's that kind of thing. What about the trees opposite here, on the island here? They have seeds that are encased in casings that protect them, and then they fall, and then it rains, and they're lying in the mud, and they open up, and the seed comes out. Ingenious. Other plants have hooks on them, like Velcro. That's where Velcro was invented by Hashem. And manufacturers now make Velcro. Hashem made the whole thing thousands of years ago. They have hooks. So we called them, when I was growing up, burrs. You walk by, the bird catches onto your clothing, and how did I get this on me? And you try. In the meantime, the seed went very far. You took it very far with you, and you put it down somewhere else. And animals walking through the woods, the birds stick to their hair, and that's how the whole concept of seed dispersal of the seeds is a genius of creation in the world of Someya, the world of vegetative world. But then we have animals. Animals have more life in them. They not only grow, but they move. And birds, we've spoken so often about the miracle of birds, that they know how to navigate, and how a bird builds its nest from leaves and twigs and straw. You see them picking up a little bit of string and carrying it in their beak. Who teaches them how to do this? How do they know? How do all these creations know? Each one has its own wisdom. Like I've said so many times, one of my favorite examples, who teaches the spider to make a web? Who teaches the wolves to hunt in a pack? Other hunting animals don't hunt in packs. And if a dog tries to run with the wolves, because the dog is related to the wolves, a cousin, they don't accept him. So we see all the tremendous wisdom in the life cycle. I mean, that's what you study in botany, right? Biology, the life cycle of all these creations, it's amazing. So where does it all come from? Like the story of the guy who was an explorer in Africa, and he discovered this tribe of people that nobody had ever heard of them before. And they're showing him around, and he sees that one of them has a watch, a Timex watch. So he says, "Where'd you get that from?" He said, "Well, they make them down there." So he understands it's a factory that makes watches. So if you look at the whole world, you understand that someone's making all this, something is making all this. So this very basic, simple thought process teaches a person to appreciate the greatness of Hashem's creation. That's called, we wrote it on the board last week, Gadlus Haboira. The greatness of the Creator. And when you see the greatness of creation, and if you want to, that's in the immediate environment. And if you want to look outward into outer space and to understand, somebody told me now that the people who are in space capsules are orbiting the world, and they've taken pictures of the whole world now. There's not one place in the world that they haven't cataloged it physically, pictorially, to make an atlas, a precise atlas of the whole physical world. And they're going round and around the Earth. And someone said that the satellite that they're in is traveling at a speed of thousands of miles an hour. Because they don't feel it, because there's no resistance. Thousands of miles an hour. Now imagine, it's not just that they're going around the world at that speed, but the solar objects, the sun, travels around the world every day at such unbelievable speed. If you take the Earth as a starting point, as a center point, the sun, not the Earth travels around the sun, once a year or something. But the sun travels around the Earth every day. That's a huge amount of distance. It's speeding tremendously. You know what it says? It says, what propels the sun? What propels the sun is it's very excited. It's very excited to be able to praise Hashem. So it says, there's a famous story of a battle that the Jewish people fought against the tribe of Amalek who attacked them when they left Egypt. And Yoshua made the sun stand still. And this is also another place says the sun stood still but it doesn't say it stood still, Amad. It doesn't say Amad, it says dome. It's the word dome means it was silent. In other words, Yoshua made the sun be silent. Stop singing praises of God. So we understand the story in a simple level that it prolonged the day, the hours of the day, so the Jewish people could completely defeat their enemies. But what really is going on here is revealed in Hasidic teachings, but not only Hasidic teachings, in the traditional Messiah of what the Torah is all about. That Yoshua told the sun to be quiet. He was geyser. He made a decree on the sun to be quiet. He had power to do that. And since the sun was quiet, it stopped. Because just like jets have fuel that makes them fly, so the excitement of the sun to be able to praise Hashem was so great that it impelled it to race across the sky in 12 hours. It covers tens of thousands of miles so very quickly. So if you want to look out into the universe, we're also tremendously impressed with the greatness of Hashem. Like we said just the last few days, we spoke about it, with the level of life that does not decay. Everything in our life, everything that we know in this world, grows and dies. Decay begins immediately upon birth, already starting to disintegrate. But the moon doesn't disintegrate. The sun doesn't wear out. How come? Where does it fill up? At the gas station? How come the sun burns and burns and burns at such intensity and it doesn't burn up, it doesn't wear out, and never will? Because it's a different level of creation. So similarly, if we look on a minuscule level, let's look at the source of things. So people wondered, where does life come from? Where does physical matter come from? So they thought of molecules, then they thought of atoms, then they thought of energy. What makes up an atom? Neutrons and protons and electrons. And then they don't know what they are. It's just mysterious. So whichever way you're going to look, at the world around you, the world beyond you, the world, the microscopic world, you just see an infinite wonder. And so when you think about all these things, you're filled with a sense of awe at the greatness of Hashem. That's called Gadlus Habayra. And when a person will think seriously for a few minutes a day about the Gadlus Habayra, that's why we tell all the students when they come to learn in this class, the first exercise of the day is look up. Su'u marem einechem. Lift up your eyes on high. Ura'u, behold, mi bara elah. Mi bara elah. Who created this? And so we get a level of love revealed in your heart. But what if a person doesn't have the background to think about protons and neutrons and doesn't know about outer space and doesn't know about giant telescopes and doesn't think about the fact that the moon keeps on moving in its orbit without changing for thousands of years. And the moon that we see in the sky is the same moon that our ancestors saw when they left Egypt. Don't think about it. Simple pure person. How can he or she have love in their heart? They don't have. Until now, we spoke about love that's generated by the mind, by thinking, meditation. One of the person doesn't have the ability to meditate. So there's a hidden love, a natural love, hidden in the heart of every single Jew. Every single Jew. Sometimes it's more revealed, sometimes it's not revealed at all. But under extreme circumstances, it becomes revealed. Like the olive oil in the olive, when it's crushed, the oil comes out. We don't want anybody to be crushed, chas v'sholem, but we see in the history of our people that very often that's what happens. That when we're crushed, we cry out, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Here is the watchword of the essence of what we are, the belief in the one invisible God. This was the Chiddush, the new idea that Avraham Avinu, our father, brought to the world. And that's our mission in the world, is to bring this awareness into everything that we do and everything that we say and everything that we know. And this has an effect on the world at large. And this is preparing the world for the ultimate purpose of creating the world, is that it should be a place where godliness is revealed. It is a contradiction. It's a paradox, a contradiction. Stira minei ubei. That to create the world, Hashem had to hide. Because if Hashem didn't hide, where's he going to put the world? If Hashem is revealed, where does the world go? If Hashem is infinite, where are you going to keep the world? Where's it going to go? I have a drawer where I keep my socks. Where's Hashem's drawer? Where does he keep the world? The answer is he doesn't change anything. He just hides so that this is a miracle, a wonder of the whole creation, that Hashem can create a world in which we don't see the creator. We don't see where the world is coming from. I mean, a friend of mine had a cat. He had mice, so he got a cat. And the cat was very good. They liked the cat in the house. But one day, the cat went out on its own. And before you know it, they had 9 cats, a whole litter of baby cats. And it got out of hand. And he had to get rid of the cat. So we know where the cats came from. They came from another cat. We don't know where the world came from. We can't see where the world comes from. I put a seed in the earth, a flower grows. I know where the flower is coming from. At least I think I know. I think it's coming from the seed, but it's not. You know that? It's not coming from the seed. The seed rots and decays and disappears. And then the flower comes. What creates the flower? There's a koyach hatzomeach that's planted in the earth. It's described in the book of Bereshit. An infinite power of growing things is in the earth. So when you put the seed in the ground, that's like running the program in your computer, in your computer. So, this is the program. You take the data, go to your data, you download the data for the flower, plant it in the seed, plant it in the earth, that's the seed. And then the earth runs the program, creates the flower, creates the tree, creates everything. So we see that we're surrounded on all sides by mystery. And we have 2 levels of this life. One is the way life fills every single thing. For instance, you have a power to see. Where is it? It's in your eye. And it's not your eye that sees, it's the power to see. If a person has an accident and loses their eye, heaven forbid, or they have an illness and the eye loses its function, there's an eye bank people have created now an eye bank. People donate eyes, they donate kidneys, they don't donate other organs, and other people can use the organ, because the organ is just an organ. It's just but the power to function is a power of the soul. Soul power. So you have soul powers. Power to see, the power to hear, power to speak, power to move, the power to smell, the power to digest your food. These are soul powers. But where does the soul come from? Where does the body come from? So there's two levels now. There's a level of godliness that creates things, and there's a level of godliness that keeps things alive, so that the life in each organ is exactly measured for what that organ is. The power of sight works wonderfully if you have an eyeball, but it doesn't work for smelling, it doesn't work for moving or eating or any other. It's exactly measured. A life that's exactly measured, like you put on a pair of gloves, the glove has to be the same as the shape of your hands. So the life within your hand also has to be in the shape of a hand. The life in the digestive tract has to be a life that it fits in the digestive tract. So all these life powers are in you. Where do they come from? What keeps them going? And if I can fix an organ, if an organ is malfunctioning, can I replace it? Yes, you can. In many instances, you can. And there are a lot of cases where there's some malfunction and the body compensates and is able to function in a different way, in a creative way. So we have two levels of life here. We have a level of life which fills everything with life. That's called in Hebrew, Memale Kol Almin. This life is Memale Kol Almin, fills everything with life exactly on its level. And then there's the creation of the substance itself, which is from a higher order of life, called Sovev Kol Almin. Sovev Kol Almin. It's when we say Sovev, the word Sovev means surrounding, but surrounding in English means like from the outside. Sovev Kol Almin isn't from the outside. Sovev Kol Almin is such a level of life that it's not subject to measure. In other words, it doesn't have height, width, or breadth. You can't weigh it. You can't taste it. It's transcendent. It's not limited by any limitations that we're aware of. So it's not outside, it's not inside. There is no outside, there is no inside. There is no up, there is no down. There is no right, left, no directions. There's just life, pure life. Well, that's very close to what God is, but it's only a level. God is still much, much more than that, and He creates that, and it's called Sovev Kol Almin. It's connected with the world. Anything connected with the world is hidden. It's part of the whole concept of the world is hidden, like we said in the beginning. Hashem has to hide Himself in order to create a world, because otherwise, where is He going to put the world? So this is a wonder of creation, that Hashem creates the world and hides the fact that He is creating it the whole time. And this is one of the great ideas of teachings of the Baal Shem Tov, which is spoken about in Tehillim as well. And David HaMelech is also aware of this and speaks about it. That Hashem didn't create the world and then put it on automatic pilot, that it should run by itself. It doesn't run by itself. It's constantly recreating, being recreated out of nothing. Where was the world before creation? There was no place where the world was. There was no place. Place had to be created. How do you create place? By hiding godliness. So the creation of a place is the first of all creations. And together with that is time. What's time? Time is how it measure time it takes from one place to the next place. So time and space are the first of all creations, but they are coming from a level that's much higher than that. Because anything connected with the world is hidden. So we have mamalik or almin. The word ha'olam is like the root helem, a hiddenness. So mamalik kol almin and sovev kol almin are like two sides of the same coin, and the coin is called olam. And when a person will think about all these things, he will develop a sense of great awe and wonder at the greatness of creation. Ma'agadu ma'asecha havaya. How wondrous and how great is your creation, Hashem. And in this way, we come to a feeling of love in our heart when we do a mitzvah. When we have the privilege of doing things for God because He asks us and we do them. That's a great privilege. So we feel very good about it. But what about the person who doesn't have all this capacity, all this mental power to think about all this? What's he or she supposed to do? Well, how come when push comes to shove, they will give up their life, young children, elderly, men and women will give up their life and not worship an idol. They won't turn to idol worship. And they don't have the intellectual background. They never learned in yeshiva. Where does it come from? It's called a hidden love. So what we're learning about in the Tanya now is that this hidden love is in the heart of every single Jew. Question is, how do I bring it out? How do I access it? We'll continue with this tomorrow. Chapter 19. The interesting thing is that the Torah surrounds us with reminders. So that wherever we go, we're always reminding ourselves of this whole process and awareness. So you come in the door, you have some mezuzah. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi Pape.
Yeah, you never stop being a student. Never stop. No, being a student. No, never stop. Yes. יש פתגם, את יודעת, אני לא יודעת את פתגם, אפילו שם סנטר. פתגם, פתגם. Maria, what's ptgam? Quote. Oh, quote, okay. Never mind. Sorry. Learn, study, learn. Sì, ho detto che
No,
lo dobbiamo che solita. Il madre del mondo. Come c'è ciao?
Yeah.
How you
We
can?
need one sword, so that's. Can I take your seat? No. This is the S. Okay, so you can just. Hi, can you sit in? You sit in.
Hi, I'm Alexa.
Alexa?
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Alexa. I'm Maria.
Yeah. Welcome to sit here.
Oh, yeah,
Great.
definitely.
Thank you so much.